What's going on, motherfuckers? Happy Saturday. What's up, everybody? What up? All right, so we're going to get into some news this morning. I'm going to roll me up a hooter. See what's going on. Hopefully everybody's doing good this morning. Happy Sunday. Saturday. No, Sunday. Sorry. Let's go.
What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NY Prepper. It is Friday, August 9th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 23:43 Eastern Time here in the United States.
Yes, this is 6 hours old. It's while we were sleeping.
And I wanted to update you on the situation in the Middle East between Iran and Israel. And I also wanted to update you on the situation between Ukraine and Russia. So what you're looking at here is a new picture showing a U.S. Ohio-class submarine in the Eastern Mediterranean taking off from its port in Crete, okay? So this is a U.S. Ohio-class guided missile submarine, and we have 4 of these here in the U.S., and this is the USS Georgia. Now, this thing can carry 154 Tomahawk missiles.
Picture this, losing 3 pounds a day every single day. That's 21 pounds a week. It sounds unbelievable.
Missiles, which is about as much as 5 or 6 destroyers, okay? So we have 4 of these, and one of them is now in the Eastern Mediterranean, 100% confirmed.
I mean, I think I talked about these already on the channel. Ohio class is not the one to play with. When you start seeing these things out, shit's getting deep.
This is clearly a sign that the U.S. is preparing for a massive escalation, and I personally believe what we are witnessing is the beginnings of World War III, okay? So 154 Tomahawk missiles, and this is to strike Iran if Iran attacks Israel too severely. We will retaliate with these Tomahawk missiles, which could potentially have nuclear warheads on them, okay? Because the Tomahawk missile is nuclear capable. It can carry the W-80 thermonuclear warhead, which has 150 kiloton blast yield. Okay, so 154 Tomahawk missiles on this thing, loaded and ready to go. And the U.S. Central Command posted these pictures on their Twitter account earlier yesterday showing these F-22s arriving in the Middle East. And they wrote the U.S. Air Force F-22 Raptors arrived in the U.S. Central Command area of responsibility on August 8th as part of U.S. force posture changes in the region to mitigate the possibility of regional escalation by Iran or its proxies. Okay, so we are witnessing the beginnings of World War III. Okay, I believe that the U.S. is finally going to do what they've wanted to do for a very long time, and that is to strike Iran, to denuclearize them, destroy their nuclear facilities, destroy their naval bases, destroy their missile systems, their air defenses, their radars, the IRGC locations. I think we're going to see it, guys, especially if Iran conducts a very severe strike, which is what we're hearing. Okay, Israeli intelligence is saying that Iran is planning to strike government buildings like the Israeli parliament building, the Israeli prime minister's office, the Mossad headquarters, IDF headquarters. Also, they're going to hit seaports, airports, and gas platforms and electrical infrastructure. So Iran is planning a strategic attack on Israel, okay? So get prepared, guys. We are witnessing the beginnings of World War III. And then here we have some video footage of these F-22s when they landed in RAF Lakenheath in the UK when they were flying over from Elmendorf. They stopped in the UK. Check this out, guys. These are stealth fighters, okay? We are moving over 20 stealth fighters to the Middle East, okay? We have just under 200 of them. So if we move over 20, that is pretty significant. Okay, that's 10% of all of our F-22s going to the Middle East. And these are air superiority fighters. They can penetrate enemy airspace and destroy the S-400s that Russia gave to Iran, and radar sites and all kinds of things. And before I continue with the breaking news, I wanted to mention the sponsor for this update, which is My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply. It's crazy how you don't even hear them until they get close. So these are the world's only true stealth fighter jet besides the F-35 that is actually functioning and has been used in combat. So when we bust out the F-22s, that's very serious. We also moved B-2s to Qatar. So, and then the Ohio class submarine, the SSGN, okay, the USS Georgia in the Eastern Mediterranean. And Russia has issued a notice to airmen for planes leaving Russia, warning them to avoid Israeli airspace at night between 0100 and 0700 local time until August the 16th. Okay, so Russia warning its pilots not to fly from 0100 to 0700 hours local time, that's Israeli time, until August the 16th. Okay, so Russia must know something. And the IRGC has apparently obtained a new anti-ship cruise missile that they claim is virtually undetectable, and they plan to use it against U.S. warships.
Excuse me,
They plan to use on U.S. warships. Sounds like somebody got some signal jamming technology given to them.
And there was an attack earlier this evening on a U.S. military base in Syria, and we are now hearing that there are deaths being reported, U.S. military deaths, okay? Now, I can't confirm that 100%, but that's what I'm hearing. And Russia has instituted a counter-terrorism regime in 3 of their oblasts bordering Ukraine in Kursk, Bryansk, and Belgorod. And this would be the largest counterterrorism operation in Russian history. Okay, now what's interesting is for those of you guys who watch my 24/7 live streams, I have cameras of the Polish-Russian border and the Russian-Lithuanian border, and now those cameras have disappeared. I don't know if that's because Russia's planning to attack Poland and Lithuania and they've shut the cameras down, but they did the same thing before they invaded Ukraine. They shut down all their cameras along the border with Ukraine, or if it's related to this counterterrorism operation that they're doing. But what you're looking at here is a picture of a Ukrainian soldier right outside of the town of Lyubimovka in the Kursk Oblast, which is 30 miles.
Want to touch on this a little bit because I've heard this for a few days now. What up, Crystal? Good morning. We've got the picture right here. You see this picture? This is fucking across into the Russian territory. So Ukraine's no longer like defending their country. Ukraine is the aggressor now, guys. So we've all fucking went and given Ukraine all these fucking weapons. I mean, obviously that's a personal fucking personnel carrier right there, armored personnel carrier. He's hanging out. So like now we've got Ukraine invading Russia, literally. Where they're at right now, the Kerch fucking nuclear power facility. It's one of the fucking major things, and they're trying to fucking get Ukraine to understand that you guys are gonna fucking blow up a fucking nuclear power plant. And that's where we're at right now. So Oblast, Kerch area, they've already taken control. That was already fucking Russian territory. So literally, Ukraine is pushing so far into Russian territory, and they're making great strides. Like, if you see the fucking difference of in the last month of what happened, now Russia had been into Ukraine so far. Well, now it's totally changed. Totally.
From the Ukrainian border, and this is literally just 5 miles away from the Kursk nuclear power plant and maybe about 10 miles away from the center of Kursk. Now, Kursk is a strategically important city in Russia. It has an FSB headquarters there. There's some air defense batteries there. There's a bunch of radars there. So it's very possible that Ukraine could try to seize control of that nuclear power plant or possibly enter downtown Kursk. But this is a huge embarrassment for Putin, and it's definitely going to make him want to use nuclear weapons even more now against Ukraine. And here we have some video footage of Ukrainian soldiers in the Russian town of Sujba. And Sujba is the town where the Russian gas pipeline goes through, and they've seized control of this metering station, distribution hub.
You're not that crazy for dabbing this early. I'm about to do a dab myself, Crystal. Get out of here.
Russian gas into Europe. So now they can effectively cut off gas into Europe. This is absolutely huge, but let me just play this for you. So they're saying here, wishing you health from the town of Sujba. Here's the news. The town is under the control of the armed forces of Ukraine. The town is quiet. All the buildings are intact. The strategic object, Sujba's Gazprom building, is under the control of the 99th Mechanized Battalion of the 61st Separate Stepova Brigade. Peaceful sky to everyone. So this is huge, guys. Ukraine is literally invading Russia, okay? And we're hearing that they're massing troops in other areas along Russia's border. So I don't think they're done just yet, okay? I think we're going to see other incursions near Kursk. Maybe they're going to go into Belgorod. Maybe they're going to go into Bryansk or somewhere, okay? So this is absolutely huge. And here we have a picture showing this electrical substation that was hit by a Ukrainian drone that services the Kursk nuclear power plant. Okay, so they hit the substation that provides electricity to the Kursk nuclear power plant. I don't think they did that on accident. I think Ukraine is going to try to take that power plant. And we are now hearing that there are up to 5,000 Ukrainian.
Marty, if you don't shut the fuck up. You thought we was helping Ukraine? Yeah, we're helping them push into fucking Russia. That's what I mean, Crystal. You at some point, you know, we're helping them. It was supposed to be defending their country. Now they've crossed over their fucking borders and they're actually in Russia. It's no longer defending. You become the aggressor. Trying to get this data on this to pop up. I might have to do it again. Hold on. The flight radar. And I'm going to show you how much really we're helping over there. If I can get it to load up. We talked about this last night, how Ronnie likes to track planes. So, let's go. All right, this is our military tracker. Now I'm gonna show you guys. Okay, this is Russia over here. Okay, all this over here, it's all Russia. You see what this says right here? U.S. United States military, Northrop Grumman, RQ-4 Global Hawk. We up in Estonia. Estonia borders Russia, by the way, if anybody doesn't know their geography. And this is all military planes, by the way. We can go place for place. But it's really funny that they're really flying the border of fucking Belarus. All right, Belarus is with Russia. Okay, here's Ukraine. Moldova. So I'm like 100% sure they're either the RQs up here fucking searching for subs, or there's some fucking offensive getting ready to take place along this border here. All right, see this area right here? Where my cursor is? That's Kaliningrad right here. So Lithuania, okay? Kaliningrad Oblast, okay? That's literally part of Russia. This little spot right here. Yeah. Oh, you can't see yet. Yes, up. So we're gonna click here. What we got? United Kingdom military, United States PR. All right, there's a sub hunter right there. Boeing P-8 Poseidon. Go look it up, guys, gals. P-8 Poseidon. That was one that was flying over Michigan, and I was stating I was real worried about. Let's see what you're flying rate. So it looks like they took off from Romania. Romania part of the fucking pact or whatever. So they're really searching this shit here. They're looking for subs. They're really adamant upon looking for subs right now. I'm taking it. What we got here? Israel military. Fucking Lockheed Martin C-130 Hercules. That's the Maltese fucking drone. They've always got that thing out. Yeah. Shit's getting deep. Oh yeah, they gotta see the Maltese been fucking flying the shit out that motherfucker. Oh, that's Kotar. Kotar military. Eurofighter. See. Part of the map don't even pop up and I already know who it is. Turkey military. Turkey's right here. Shit's getting deep, guys. Shit's getting deep. See that search pattern? See that? Every one of them lines is them. That plane that I'm tracking right now, this is a real plane. Flying grid pattern, fucking best thing I can tell you guys do, go look up 130 fucking J Ghost. Give you a rough idea, estimate on like what its potential fucking capabilities are. That's the best way to put it. All right. Let's get back into some more YouTube. Let's go to Canadian Prepper. I like Canadian Prepper over fucking majority of them. I mean, I like NY Prepper, but Canadian Prepper, that's my guy. This guy don't sugarcoat shit. And I love that about him. Let's go back in here. All right, so this is where I was saying Pentagon has fucking daily fucking briefings. I've told people that many times. They don't put it on the natural fucking news, but Pentagon, the White House, they all have daily briefings. Oh, I'm nice.
A good analogy for what I'm saying here is this. This is the Australian breakdancer. If you didn't know, breakdancing is a sport in the Olympics now. She appears to be having some kind of full body convulsion. But as you watch this, I want you to understand that this is everything in our society. This is people selling their house to buy Bitcoin. This is Joe Biden not knowing where he is. All of the shortcomings of living such a pampered, soft lifestyle for so long. That's what this is, okay? So this cringy full body aneurysm is the result of essentially a broken system, which is now having a fit, and it's trying to prevent the rise of these superpowers. And in doing so, it's actually making the problem much worse. Because consider, for example, NATO's encroachment on Russia's borders. We're led to believe that Russia just out of nowhere one day had evil machinations in their mind, and they decided to go and invade Ukraine. Well, we all know, anybody with half a brain and just a little bit of depth in their analysis knows that that's far from the truth. They know that Russia was provoked, by and large, by this NATO encroachment on its borders. We know that in Iran, right now, the Israelis distinctly targeted the Hamas leader while he was in Iran, so to start a war with Iran, so to beget an Iranian response. That's obvious, because they could have did it anywhere else. They did it there for a reason. There's a reason why you have F-22s going into the Middle East, air superiority planes. There's a reason why those planes primarily used for offensive purposes. Yes, they can shoot down drones and things like that, but basically they're there to accompany the bombers that are going to likely be going into Iran and dropping nuclear weapons. That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. You say, Nate, you're being sensational, you're catastrophizing, you're being alarmist. Well, take a look what's happening right now. I want you to imagine it's 2022, and I just finished telling you the following. Ukraine, armed with F-16s, Leopard German tanks, American ATACMS missiles, are going to be invading Russia, utilizing NATO ISR and possibly command and control. They possibly planned it all with the help of MI6 and whoever else is involved there. They're going to be invading Russia with several brigades of troops and trying to take out the Kursk nuclear power plant. That's exactly where they're heading right now. Imagine I said that in 2022.
See that map?
You'd be like, come on.
Yes.
No way. I mean,
see that map? See how that line just fucking totally dissolved and they actually went in? So this is no longer fucking they're defending themselves like they're being the aggressor. They're pushing towards the fucking Kirkle block fucking power plant. What up, Dabs 24/7?
This is like Nord Stream era. This is pre-Nord Stream. Most preppers I know would immediately get their family and tell them to go into the bunker. Nowadays, what's going on? This is what's going on. I want you to watch it because this is most of the people you see every day. Intellectually, I mean. Okay? This is what's going on. This is what we're doing. We're not investing in civil defense infrastructure. These are the people in charge. Okay? This is like the best that we send to the Olympics. Yeah, breakdancing is a new sport. But, well, the breakdancers they have there are actually really good, except from Australia, who, of course, has been systematically, mentally neutered by their government. So today, Sabrina Singh, the Pentagon spokesperson, decided to try to convince reporters that the United States is perfectly fine with Ukrainians, who the Russians view as Banderite neo-Nazis, invading their country using American weapons, American mercenaries. We have it on film.
There's so much snake oil out there. These guys are honest and
what I'm assuming he's an American because I didn't hear him say A and I didn't hear him apologize in the video. I can't show you the video or this video will be flagged by YouTube. And that's all part of the scheme too, right? You can't show what's really going on. You can't show that. She wants us to believe that the Russians are totally fine with what I just told you, an American soldier caught on film going from house to house using American weapons. Oh, but he's got a Ukrainian blue strip. And I mean, even that is kind of symbolic, right? NATO, right? So NATO is invading Russia. And thank God that Vladimir Putin has the strategic forbearance. Thank God he's an authoritarian leader. I want you to think about this, because if he wasn't able to think so far ahead, he probably would have pushed that button a long time ago. What he is banking on is that this incursion into Kursk is going to fail, and that it is essentially exactly what happened, to the Germans. Was it the Battle of the Bulge? Was it that one where, it was like their last Hail Mary attempt at turning the tide of the war that failed, but they failed miserably because they didn't have the reserves? Started off okay, but then, they eventually lost. So he knows that's what this is. And again, I've been saying this since the start, and I'm no Russia bro. Trust me. The Russia bros despise me when I call them out on their cope about this situation and many other situations along the Russian front. They despise it. But indeed, Vladimir Putin has been playing chess ever since the beginning, but not in the maneuver warfare sort of way that we all thought. He's been playing economic and political chess, building alliances, building soft power with other countries, because he knows ultimately in this war of attrition, where the United States is $35 trillion in debt and all of its vassal states are withering on the vine as well. Europe, of course, now beholden to the Americans once again. Well, of course, perhaps they always have been. Let's face it. I mean, American occupying forces have been there since World War II in numerous countries, in Japan as well. So everybody is on the shit list at this point in time. And the authoritarian leaders, as we call them, they're the only ones that can plan ahead. We got to do the 4-year fish out of water flip-flop, the full body dry heave that we see at the Olympics right now. And at this point in time, there's no sense in me. I got 10 pages of notes.
I just gotta say, because he keeps bringing up the Australian Olympics break dancer. I don't even know how to break dance. I think I could have done better than that shit.
If you think that this is just me
Do the snake.
and my rhetoric on this channel, everything that I'm telling you is informed by data. I have all the data. I can tell you about all the little events that happen throughout the day, but that's all you need to know. All wars happening right now are one war. Right now, emerging power bloc is challenging the existing power structure, and the existing power structure has no choice but to try to interdict the progress and go to war first. And that's what happened with NATO's encroachment on Russia's borders. That's what's happening in the Middle East, where 110% Israel and the United States are about to go to war.
I think he should have said intervene and fucking instead of introduce or whatever he fucking just said. Because at some point they're going to intervene. And all hell's going to break loose.
With Iran and its proxies, because Iran is getting too powerful. They're getting too powerful, not only in just population. I mean, just simple population. Those are the countries that are still having babies. The countries that are still having babies are the ones that we're at war with, with the exception of China. And yeah, I mean, arguably, they're still having more relative than a lot of the Western countries, right? And were it not for immigration.
All right, let's go. This is where I want to go. Enough of that. Let's get some fucking 50 fucking facts about weed. Let's learn a little. What y'all say? 50 insane facts about weed compilation. Let's go.
Picture this. You're sitting at home alone watching YouTube.
Riddle me this,
wondering
Batman.
how you can't find the motivation to do the things
Sorry.
you need.
That's my Tourette's.
Illegal in 1937 when the marijuana tax.
Start this over.
I don't always have 1 to 2 hours of my day to actually prepare meals and then clean up after. Sometimes
How will cannabis survive the apocalypse? Did William Shakespeare smoke a bowl before he wrote a play? Why do you get the munchies after toking? Which presidents liked to get dank on their downtime? And can you smoke so much weed that it kills you? These are 50 chronically insane facts about weed. Fact 50. Cannabis is believed to be one of the earliest plants to be cultivated by humans. Mentions of it have been found in writings from as far back as 3000 BC, and possible evidence of cannabis use has been identified.
I don't know what I did. I broke
In
it.
Neolithic archaeological sites that are over 10,000 years old. Most of the early evidence of cannabis use comes from Asia, with prehistoric cannabis residues and hemp fiber imprints having been found across China, Japan, India, and the Middle East. Historians believe that these ancient cultures used the plant not just for its psychoactive properties, but also to make rope, clothes, shoes, paper, and even as a food source. Fact 49. Have you ever wondered where the word marijuana actually comes from? Well, there are a couple of competing theories. According to one popular story, it comes from a Nahuatl word meaning prisoner. This explanation probably isn't true, though, as it was first popularized by anti-drug campaigner Harry Anslinger in the 1930s. The more likely explanation is that it comes from the Chinese mahrenhua, meaning hemp flower. Ganja, another popular nickname for the drug, comes from the Sanskrit word for the hemp plant. Fact 48. People have had it out for cannabis for over 700 years. Throughout history, marijuana has been mainly used for medicinal and spiritual purposes, but even so, it's always been a pretty controversial substance. In fact, the first known laws restricting marijuana use come from all the way back in the Middle Ages. The earliest known anti-cannabis legislation is believed to be a law passed in the 1300s by an Arabian emir called Sodun Sheikuni. Cannabis use was also made illegal by Napoleon Bonaparte during his reign and was widely outlawed throughout the British Empire during his day. Fact 47. The United States has something of a love-hate relationship with the hemp plant. America started restricting the sale of drug in 1906, but only made it outright illegal in 1937 when the Marijuana Tax Act was passed. For some reason, hemp was outlawed alongside cannabis, but that wasn't the case for long. Once the U.S. entered World War II, the government started making propaganda that encouraged hemp cultivation. Since the hemp plant could be used to make cheap but durable rope and canvas, that was vital to the war effort. Hemp was then banned again in the 70s under the Controlled Substances Act, and the plant remained illegal until the Controlled Substances Act was revised in 2018. Even though the cultivation of hemp is still strictly regulated, in 2019 the U.S. managed to become the world's third biggest hemp producer after China and Canada. Fact 46. Urkel has his own bespoke line of weed. In 2021, actor Jaleel White launched his own brand of recreational weed called It's Purple, a variant of the purple.
That Urkel weed, boy, that Urkel weed.
Urkel cannabis strain. Jaleel White, of course, was famous back in the 90s for playing the nerdy Steve Urkel on the sitcom Family Matters. When asked about It's Purple by Forbes, White said he started the business because he was tired of seeing his character's name and likeness used without his involvement, and figured he could get in on the action. He even filmed ads for it alongside Snoop Dogg, where he was fully in character as Steve Urkel. Fact 45. Reggae legend Bob Marley was buried with weed. Perhaps one of the most famous tokers of all time, music god Bob Marley took the plant to the grave with him. When he died of cancer in 1981, according to some accounts, he was buried with a football, his beloved Gibson Les Paul guitar, and a bud of chronic. Hopefully, he's still lighting it up in the great beyond. Fact 44. There are over 1,000 ways to say it. Literally. Time magazine has reported that there are over 1,200 popularly used slang terms for cannabis. And here are some of our favorites. Weed, bud, ganja, chronic, grass, wacky tobacco, reefer, herb, green goddess, sweet Mary Jane, Donna Juanita, pot, dank, and the devil's lettuce. If we forgot one of your favorites, let us know in the comments. Fact 43. Tupac's closest friends smoked him. And no, that's not a euphemism.
The devil's lettuce? No, that's the God's loud.
When Tupac was tragically murdered in 1996, his old band and close friends, the Outlaws, claimed to have gave him a true rapper send-off, rolling some of his cremains into a joint with some weed and soaking him up. While some have doubted these claims, the Outlaws themselves have stuck to their story. Personally, we think this one's up there with Marley's coffin weed. Fact 42. A group of weed-hunting teens invented 420. It's one of the most popular codes for cannabis, and it's the reason that April 20th, previously best known as the birthday of the decidedly unchill Adolf Hitler, is now synonymous with sharing some herbal love. In the early 1970s, a group of high schoolers from San Rafael High School in California went hunting for a legendary weed farm in their area, using the code 420 to signify the hunts. While they never found the El Dorado of ganja, their story and their secret code got picked up by the magazine High Times and the band Grateful Dead, leading to the phrase becoming forever cemented in cannabis culture language. Fact 41. Washington was the first U.S. state to legalize recreational marijuana use. And this is kind of poetic, given the state's namesake, America's first president, George Washington, famously cultivated hemp crops. He was a big fan of the plant, mentioning it over 90 times in his personal diaries. But there is no evidence that he ever used it to get high. Instead, he likely grew the plant due to its valuable resource for manufacturing those sturdy ropes we mentioned earlier for use in ship construction. The original United States flag, created by Betsy Ross, was even made out of the kind of hemp that Washington loved cultivating. It's as American as apple pie. Fact 40. A lot of celebrities smoke weed. It'd be a whole video to list them all, but some of the most prominent, famous, avowed potheads include Jennifer Lawrence, Kirsten Dunst, Miley Cyrus, Zoe Kravitz, Lady Gaga, Brad Pitt, Jane Fonda, Harrison Ford, Charlize Theron, Pete Davidson, Morgan Freeman, Patrick Stewart, Rihanna, Snoop Dogg and Seth Rogen, Willie Nelson, Woody Harrelson, Kendall Jenner, and Matthew McConaughey. And those are just the ones who admit it. Fact 39. Washington wasn't the only president with a history of weed use, and these presidents actually did smoke it. George W. Bush is an admitted weed user, and Barack Obama even had a weed-smoking club in his youth called the Choom Gang. According to some of the Choom Gang's other members, Obama actually pioneered some new weed consumption techniques, including TA, or total absorption, and roof hits. And yes, there is a cruel irony to the fact that both those presidents smoked weed, but neither of them legalized it on the federal level. We guess they just want.
Help me!
That's fucking hilarious.
Wanted to keep it all to themselves. Fact 38. The government could be making billions of dollars from marijuana. Extrapolating from the tax money.
So did that Obama Kush, is that really fucking Obama's Kush? I mean, just because they didn't federally make it, legal doesn't mean that they wasn't having nobody grow.
States with legal weed have already made. It's estimated that across the entire United States, the federal government could make $8.5 billion in tax revenue, and potentially more if they institute a so-called potency tax, where taxation of cannabis is put on a sliding scale based on how potent the strain is. And even this is nothing compared to the money that private industry stands to make. It's estimated that if weed was legalized in all 50 states, it would quickly become a bigger market than organic food. Fact 37. The U.S. military experimented with weaponized weed. Researchers at the Edgewood Arsenal facility in Maryland pioneered.
This I know to be true, okay? The weed that they're talking about, they fucking rated the shit, and it fucking ended up making the shit 10 times stronger. So like you could take a fucking drop of this shit and you would be high for a week.
Dimethylheptylpyrin. Try saying that 3 times fast. An extremely potent cannabinoid agent that had an elimination half-life of 20 to 39 hours. That's some serious sticky. In addition to the standard sedative and hallucinogenic effect, it also caused a low blood pressure, dizziness, fainting, ataxia, and muscle weakness. So much so that someone under the effects of dimethylheptylpyrin had difficulty even standing upright. Obviously, the researchers at Edgewood didn't invent this just so U.S. soldiers could get high on government-subsidized ultra weed. They were exploring the possible use as a non-lethal crowd control.
Okay, so like the thing we all seen in Pineapple Express. In the very beginning where the soldiers fucking, they gave him a joint or whatever. All right, just think about that. But in the original video, he was taking droplets and he was fucked up.
Agent, but that fell through because of the potential risks involved to the health of certain at-risk users and the political sensitivity of working with weed. Fact 36. For some people, marijuana use is a religious affair, and some countries even legally recognize this. In Italy, after a lengthy court battle back in 2008, it was deemed that people of the Rastafarian faith could keep weed for purely personal use as a religious sacrament, and in possession cases, it would be up to the courts to decide, based on the quantity of the weed, whether it was for personal use or trafficking. Fact 35. Weed is giving coffee a run for its money, at least in Denver. In 2011, some counts showed weed dispensaries outnumbering Starbucks locations 300 to 200.
You call that our hand in hand, buddy.
Dispensaries were so rife that a popular local magazine even had a weed reviewer
Coffee
who
and
gave
dabs.
their take on the local chronic. Fact 34. Weed is the world's favorite illicit drug. While debate rages on about how exactly weed is classified, one thing definitely isn't up for debate. The fact that people absolutely love it. According to some data, 219 million people, that's 4.3% of the global population between the ages of 16 and 64, used cannabis at least once in 2021. Fact 33. One of the first sales ever brokered on the internet was allegedly weed. In 1971, a Stanford student and an MIT student connected over the ARPANET, the precursor of the internet created by the precursor of DARPA. How did these two students of two of the country's most prestigious learning institutions use this connection forged over a revolutionary new technology? To get high, of course. They organized the sale of weed and in the process became accidental pioneers of illicit e-commerce. Fact 32. How much weed does it take to kill you? Well, we can only discuss this theoretically given that there are no recorded deaths related to cannabis overdose. Of course, it is possible to have a bad reaction, especially if you take too many edibles, which have a more potent high than smoking. But when it comes to drugs that are still illegal, cannabis is still one of the safest out there, compared to fentanyl, where as little as 2 milligrams can be fatal. Fact 31. Some people have proposed medical marijuana for dogs. However, while some pet owners have given anecdotal evidence of their sick pets having pain relieved by marijuana, most veterinary experts are skeptical. Dogs in particular are extremely vulnerable to marijuana toxicosis, especially when weed is consumed in vector that dogs already shouldn't be eating, like brownies. So just to be safe, stick only to the treatments prescribed by professionals when treating your sick pets, or you could be putting their life on the line. Fact 30.
I want to stop right there because we have several people in the cannabis community that actually make THC and CBD edibles for dogs. So don't give your dog a special brownie or a spicy brownie because obviously dogs are not supposed to have chocolate. So stick with our peeps out here that literally do this for the animal's sake.
Weed is in the air over Italy. And no, it isn't because Italy has a massive Rastafarian population who just love indulging in their newly legalized religious sacraments. We're not entirely sure why they did this, but Italy's Institute for Atmospheric Pollution Research decided to conduct a year-long study to monitor the effects of psychotropic substances in the air in 8 different Italian cities: Bologna, Florence, Milan, Naples, Palermo, Rome, Turin, and Verona. They ended up finding trace amounts of marijuana and cocaine in all 8 of them. Fact 29. A North Carolina hospital thought people were toking up around newborns. Social services started getting extremely concerned when urine tests from a number of newborns appeared to show trace amounts of marijuana in their systems, believed to be a result of secondhand smoke from overly mellow parents. However, when they dug deeper, they found out that the actual truth was even stranger. Chemicals in several
Game commercials.
baby soaps, specifically Johnson & Johnson's head-to-toe baby wash,
soaps.
Johnson & Johnson bedtime bath, CVS nighttime baby bath, Aveeno soothing relief creamy wash, and Aveeno wash shampoo seemed to trigger false positives for marijuana. If this wasn't discovered, it could have resulted in some life-ruining accusations getting thrown around. Fact 28. Illegal weed operations have been killing off owls. In another valuable argument for legalization, illegal pot operations have been having a ruinous effect on local ecosystems. In 2012, 2 rare spotted owls were found dead in Northern California's Mendocino County. The culprit? Rat poison, specifically rat poison used by a local illegal kush operation to keep pests away from their crop. But it isn't just the owl.
You guys don't use fucking rat poison, okay? There are so many things that are natural out there. I'm going to touch on one, marigolds, okay? Plant marigolds in your fucking garden. Marigolds are not poisonous. It's not going to hurt the ecosystem. It's a natural fucking pest and fucking insect repellent. Don't put rat poison in your fucking garden or near your fucking plants. You fucking might get it absorbed into your plants, and then if you're consuming it, you get the gist.
Fisher, a rare forest mammal native to the area, has also been put in a dangerous position by careless weed farmers. Rat poison has been found in the system of 85% of dead fishers found in the area, also believed to be caused by illegal weed operations. Fact 27. Is weed getting stronger? Researchers studied 36,800 samples of weed captured by the DEA over the last 20 years and found 2 interesting results. The amount of THC, the psychoactive compound in marijuana, has increased, and the amount of CBD, the chemical compound most often touted as having health benefits, has decreased. So when old stoners tell you that the weed was more chill back in their day, they're not just blowing smoke. Well, they probably still are, but just not about that. Fact 26. You can be allergic to weed. As if life for people with allergies wasn't hard enough, yes, you can also be allergic to Puff the Magic Dragon, both its pollen and its smoke. Allergic reactions can include runny noses, sneezing, irritation of the nasal passages, hives, and in one extremely rare case, anaphylaxis. For some people who experience allergic reactions to weed, it isn't actually the weed itself that gets them. Improperly stored weed can sometimes get moldy, and that mold sometimes has allergenic properties. Fact 25. Weed dependency is a genetic lottery. Like with all drugs, everyone has a different tolerance for weed, and the same goes for whether someone is likely to become dependent on it. Researchers have identified 3 different genetic markers as predictors for the likelihood of cannabis dependence. Fascinatingly, these same genetic markers are often also predictors for depression, showing that people who suffer from depression are sometimes more likely to use weed as an unhealthy coping mechanism. Fact 24. If you're an unlucky stoner, you might get cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. And that might sound horrifying, but, well, there is no but. It actually is horrifying. Chronic cannabis users who suffer from the syndrome will experience periods of severe nausea followed by cycles of profuse vomiting and abdominal pain over a 48-hour period. That doesn't sound like a fun time to us. Fact 23. Drug traffickers can get really creative with how they smuggle weed. Here's a highlight reel of some of the most deranged ways weed has been smuggled. 766 pounds of pot hidden in broccoli. 1,500 pounds hidden in coconuts. 4,000 pounds hidden in fake limes. $500,000 worth of it hidden in fake carrots. And even weed hidden in vats of strawberry jam. It's kind of weird how most of them are just fruits and vegetables. Let's see some creativity, guys. Fact 22. Debates have raged on for years on whether Shakespeare liked to partake in a bit of the devil's lettuce. During an excavation of the immortal bard's home, 2 pipes were found with, among other things, cannabis residue. Immediately this, plus Shakespeare's reference to a noted weed during one of his sonnets, had people claiming that one of history's greatest playwrights was an avowed stoner. This immediately led to scholarly debate after scholarly debate, with some on the side of weed and the skeptics claiming that there's no proof that the pipes even belonged to Shakespeare.
Dab
The debate has raged
or not to dab? That is the question. Was it this to partake or not? I don't give a fuck.
on for so long that Francis Thackeray, an anthropologist from South Africa, has requested the opportunity to exhume Shakespeare's grave and test his remains for any traces of cannabis. They might be taking this a little bit too seriously. Fact 21. Weed might change how you think about money. Studies have shown that cannabis reduces activity in the nucleus accumbens, a reward center of the brain involved in dopamine production. Those under the influence of cannabis are less likely to produce the kind of dopamine that motivates them toward external rewards, like money. That's why it can sometimes be difficult to get anything done while you're high. That and the fact that you're spending too much time thinking about old SpongeBob SquarePants episodes. Where does he get those pants? Fact 20. Why does weed give you the famous munchies? It's all down to the three magic letters THC. It stimulates the endocannabinoid receptors in the brain, which connect to regulation centers for everything from dopamine production to hunger. In most users, this triggers an appetite increase and has them.
This.
About to kick this dog on my bed. She kicked my damn phone off one more time. What up, Sherry? That's right. Partake.
Reaching for the potato chips. While to most people this is just a little annoying, it can actually serve as a major medicinal effect for people undergoing a loss of appetite during chemotherapy. Medical marijuana can even get these in-treatment cancer patients eating again, which is a huge boon for their overall health and quality of life. Fact 19. The Rastafarians aren't the only religious group who use cannabis in holy ceremonies. And we do mean holy ceremonies, with an I. During the Festival of Colors, many Hindus enjoy a nice, refreshing cup of Tandai, which literally means cooling off. But for some, the Tandai is a little holier than others, because it's spiked with Bhang, an edible strain of cannabis found in India. Partakers have reported feeling a light, pleasant buzz upon consumption. The holy significance of the Bhang-triggered Tandai links to an old tale about Lord Shiva, but that's a little too much to get into in a video about fun weed facts. Fact 18. Cannabis can be used to treat epilepsy. As a life-threatening chronic condition that's believed to affect around 50 million people globally, doctors and scientists are always looking for new treatment options for sufferers. Thankfully, certain synthetic cannabinoids have shown promise in reducing the severity of seizures. The FDA-approved drug Epidiolex has been effective in treating two different extremely rare and dangerous forms of epilepsy, Lennox-Gastaut syndrome and Dravet syndrome. And as cannabis laws continue to relax, even more of the medicinal possibilities of cannabis are likely to be explored by researchers. Fact 17. In some cases, cannabis can actually help treat other addictions. The lighter side of the nucleus accumbens dulling comes with the fact that cannabis use can reduce
I want to stop that right there because it did help me. I'm going to tell you that right now. I ate a shit ton of edibles.
cravings for other addictive substances if a person is trying to break their habit. This is true for more common addictions like alcohol, as well as some of the harder addictions. In more extreme cases, cannabis has even been an unexpected boon in helping people affected by the opioid epidemic.
Yeah, in fact, I want to stop it here because I think my brother Zen Wushu could also testify to this one. So I stand on this one, a firm believer on this one. I'm living proof of it.
Fact 16. If you're at genetic risk of schizophrenia, you should keep off the grass. While this won't be the case with most users, multiple studies have shown that people genetically predisposed to psychotic disorders, like schizophrenia, may see their chances of developing symptoms worsen, especially if they use cannabis or are exposed to cannabis use earlier in life. In addition to lowering cognitive function with extended use, it increases the likelihood of hallucinations, delusions, and paranoia. Plenty of cannabis users report temporary paranoia during use, but when you're still experiencing it between sessions, then maybe it's time to lay off the leaf. Fact 15. One of the biggest steps back for America's marijuana legalization came with one of its most controversial presidents, Tricky Dick himself, Richard Nixon. As we know from the hours upon hours of rambling recordings he took of himself, Nixon's war on drugs was actually a war on disenfranchisement, intended to lock up and take the voting rights from hippies and black people who generally opposed his policy positions. And the racist legacy of Nixon's war on drugs still exists today. Black people are arrested at greater rates for weed possession than white people in America, even in states where marijuana is legal, all thanks to Tricky Dick. Fact 14. Why is an edible high so much different from a smoke high? It's practically a meme among weed lovers that while smoke hits you quicker, edibles wait for a bit and then hit you like a truck. They give a more powerful body high that can endure for hours and leave you in a living dream or a waking nightmare. So what's the difference? Why the delayed action and upped intensity? According to neuroscientist Nick Jikomes, the issue isn't that weed is metabolized differently, it's that it's going to get metabolized to different degrees in different parts of the body, depending on the route of administration. The real difference between edibles and smoking or vaping is that with edibles, a much larger fraction of delta-9 THC makes it to the liver first. There, it gets converted to 11-hydroxy-THC. So in other words, if you smoke or vape, the ratio of 11-hydroxy-THC to delta-9 THC is quite low. And if you take an edible, it's much higher. Fact 13. Weed will survive the apocalypse. That's because cannabis seeds are just one of the many samples kept at Svalbard Global Seed Vault. They store over 21,500 cannabis seeds from 17 different countries, kept safe and sound in the event of an ecological collapse or a world-ending cataclysm. So don't worry if you're part of the post-apocalyptic tribe or a Mad Max-style raider gang in the wasteland, you can still enjoy a toke at the end of the day. Fact 12. The inventor of weed brownies was a plucky American activist.
Hey, Sherry, same here. Like, bought or fucking made. I ain't found one to touch me yet.
Mary Jane Rathbun, and no, that isn't why weed is called Mary Jane, it's just a funny coincidence, was also known as Brownie Mary, and was a pioneer for both cannabis legalization and the rights and protections of people suffering from AIDS at the height of the AIDS crisis. As part of her charity work for AIDS patients, she'd bake cannabis into brownies.
Yeah, that's my goal. It's fucking my wife. Well, actually, that's my wife's goal.
And give them out.
She's trying to get me fucked up on edibles, and they ain't worked yet.
In the process, she noticed that it seemed to alleviate some of their suffering related to their illness. Her work is likely one of the many important foundations for cannabis research and activism to this day, and her work is still used despite her passing away from a heart attack in 1999. Fact 11. In Bhutan, the weed is as plentiful as it is illegal. It naturally grows there, especially in the Bhutanese countryside, where it's so prolific that in some places it grows out of the cracks in pavements. It's illegal to cultivate it as a drug in Bhutan, but farmers often feed it to their pigs to fatten them up. Maybe humans will someday get that privilege when the pigs get high enough to actually fly. Fact 10. A dangerous weed rumor about North Korea often does the rounds. Reported by a number of 420-friendly publications like High Times and Mary Jane, it was an urban legend that despite all the other dystopian restrictions, the North Korean government is surprisingly chill about cannabis use, especially for tourists. While this is the kind of wacky North Korea fact that does numbers on the internet, it is something that might get you imprisoned or killed if you take it too seriously. While hemp is cultivated as an industrial production material in North Korea, cannabis is classified with the same drug restrictions as heroin and cocaine. And given the horrible fates undergone by tourists in North Korea for something as seemingly minor as stealing a political poster, you really should not take your chances breaking any of their laws. Or better yet, just don't go there. Fact 9. Who has the world's cheapest and most expensive cannabis? In a study conducted in 2018, it was found that Japan had the world's most expensive green, coming in at $32 per gram. If flying high in the land of the rising sun feels a little steep for your wallet, then you'd be better off vacationing in Quito, Ecuador, where the price of marijuana averages $1.34 per gram. Fact 8. Malaysia has some of the most brutal anti-drug laws in the world. Planting a single cannabis seed will put you in prison for the rest of your life. Being caught possessing 20 grams will get you lacked. 50 grams will get you 5 years in jail and a fine equating to almost $5,000. Up until 2018, having 200 grams was considered trafficking, and you could get sentenced to death. but now it'll only put you behind bars for the rest of your life. Yay? Fact 7. Carl's Jr. once served a weed burger for $4.20. Seriously, back in 2019, as part of a special promotion for $4.20, they released the Rocky Mountain High Cheeseburger Delight, which had a special Santa Fe sauce infused with a small quantity of CBD. It was only available for a single day at one of their locations in Colorado, but for any pot fans in the area, it was a day to remember. Fact 6. Ever been curious about the actual difference between a joint, a spliff, and a blunt, but been too afraid to look lame if you asked? The difference is actually pretty simple. Joints are small quantities of cannabis wrapped in rolling paper. Spliffs aren't pure cannabis. They're a mix of cannabis and tobacco in rolling paper. And blunts, if we can be blunt about it, are bigger loads of cannabis wrapped in cigar or blunt wraps, which normally also contain tobacco. Now, you're familiar with all the key weed smoking lingo. Fact 5. One man had the guts to smoke weed in the White House while weed was still illegal everywhere in the United States. It was none other than country music god Willie Nelson, who during the Carter administration snuck a joint into the White House and lit it up on the roof with the president's son, Chip Carter. It was thought to be a stoner urban legend for years until ex-President Jimmy Carter himself confirmed that the story was true. Rock on, Willie.
Rock on,
Fact 4.
Willie.
Weed has been inspiring Hollywood movies for almost a century. Stoner comedy is a movie institution, with stoned adventures being seen in Pineapple Express, Dude, Where's My Car, and the Harold and Kumar trilogy. But the first ever movie inspired by weed was 1936's Reefer Madness. But this wasn't a comedy, at least not intentionally. It was a propaganda movie that implied smoking weed would turn you into a violent psychopathic killer and lead your life to...
Have you guys seen this? That like there's a scene in here where like the two are fucking getting freaky, and supposedly like fucking dude takes a trombone, put it on a girl's fucking nose, she's bent over and fucking blows on it. I guess vibrations supposed to stimulate her. That shit's fucking funny. Like you just made a person fucking think that was a really good time. Like an elephant on your hooter.
ruin. Ironically, a lot of people get high to watch and laugh at it today. Fact 3. There are some negative side effects of smoking weed that you should look out for. While a lot of weed's impacts have historically been overblown as part of government scare campaigns, there are some scientifically proven negative effects. These include increased heart rate, which has been recorded as lasting for up to 3 hours after the user smoked. Breathing problems, since putting any kind of smoke into your lungs is going to irritate your airways. Chronic weed users also experience the classic smoker's cough and experience unpleasant phlegm buildup that leads to them coughing up gross gunk. And then there's the vomiting, nausea, paranoia, and sometimes even hallucinations that we mentioned earlier. And in the long run, chronic cannabis users may find themselves struggling with sleep issues, as well as difficulty self-motivating. Not true for all users, but there's always a non-zero chance. Fact 2.
I don't always have 1 to 2 hours in my day.
Oh, we just did a fucking...
You can actually experience weed withdrawals when trying to come off the stuff. While experiencing the negative side effects of quitting weed is actually quite rare and is nothing like coming off of harder drugs like heroin, there are a constant set of symptoms for those who do suffer from weed withdrawals. So what can you expect from experiencing weed withdrawals? The most common symptoms include reduced appetite, the opposite of the famous munchies, mood swings, and a general sense of irritability, difficulty sleeping, including insomnia.
Sounds like I got a cold. Nah, my allergies. Unfortunately, Ronnie has really bad fucking allergies, and like they said already on this, pot don't help. I should say the shit growing around my house don't help.
Insomnia and strange dreams, headaches, an inability to focus, weed cravings, chills and cold sweats, digestive issues, and a general feeling of depression. That's why a lot of chronic users struggle to come off this stuff. And of course, fact 1. The U.S. Coast Guard seized 54 tons of marijuana in a single bust back in 1977. The night train seizure occurred off the coast of Florida and was the beginning of Operation Stopgap, the first interagency initiative to stop drug trafficking. It was carried out by the Coast Guard, the DEA, and the federal marshals, and remains one of the biggest weed busts in history. It takes a couple of attempts, but you manage to spark up a lighter and hold it up steadily in front of your face to light up a joint. A familiar woody smell fills the room and drifts out of your window on the afternoon breeze. You blink, steady yourself, inhale deeply, and fill your lungs up with warmth. But what happens next? Chemically speaking, biologically speaking, what is it about this little green plant that gets millions of people around the world to flock to it? How long has humanity been consuming it? And what exactly is it doing inside your body, inside your mind? To start, let's have a look at the chemical composition of the cannabis plant itself, rolled up in a joint in your hand. Native to Central and South Asia.
What up, Joseph, my love? Fucking brother, how you doing? That love. Thanks for stopping in. We're just doing fun facts, 50 insane facts about weed compilation.
Cannabis plant today is so popular, it's now grown to be a global economy of its own. From small-scale rural farming operations all the way through to drug super labs, including any number of illegal weed farms somewhere in the middle. Experts believe that there are well over 700 different strains of cannabis currently on the market, and this number seems only set to increase. Being able to identify which strain of weed you have in your hand can be very easy when buying from a legal dispensary. But if you live in a country or a state where marijuana is still criminalized, being able to verify exactly what it is you're smoking becomes more difficult. Looking down at the green mossy balls in your hand, do you know where in the world it's come from and what's inside it? Let's break it down a bit, or rather, grind it down. You've likely heard of the two most well-known active ingredients in cannabis. These are cannabidiol and tetrahydrocannabinol, or as you probably know them, CBD and THC. Over the last 10 years in the West in particular, CBD has been championed as a potential medical breakthrough. It's also been shown to have a calming effect on those with anxious disorders and is currently being tested as a treatment for psychosis, sleep disorders, muscle spasticity, and more. You might have seen ads for CBD oil products popping up in your feed claiming that it can solve any number of ailments. Research is ongoing, however, results vary. In the case of curing cancer, for example, so far there's no evidence to support that CBD has any kind of effect on the disease, despite what people on the internet might be saying. So, you smoke CBD to get high, right? No. CBD is usually extracted as an oil, and on its own, it will not get you high. But it's still psychoactive, meaning it alters your mental state, typically leaving you feeling more calm and mellow. The feeling of being high comes from the main active component in marijuana, THC. Typically found in much greater quantities than CBD, THC can have a powerful psychoactive effect. To see what that means in practice, let's follow it as it enters the human body. You're taking a deep breath of that joint and let the smoke fill your lungs. In this example, you're going to be our test subject, and you will be smoking weed. Smoking is one of the most direct and quickest ways to get high. This is because the smoke from your burning marijuana
brought me up? Hey.
THC. The smoke is then inhaled, filling your lungs.
It's a good
point,
day, bro.
You might experience some irritation manifesting in the iconic smoker's cough from introducing an alien substance into your lungs. This is not unique to smoking weed, as you're likely to see the same from people smoking or vaping conventional tobacco. The lungs are designed to quickly and efficiently transfer oxygen into the bloodstream when we breathe. Therefore, they have the capacity to
it's about to be a commercial. No, it ain't.
take in large quantities of gas in one breath and get any number of elements or compounds from that gas into our bloodstream and fast. The lungs aren't just empty chambers. They're full of tiny little air pockets called alveoli. The average human adult has roughly 480 million alveoli in their lungs, constituting about 1,500 miles of airways. That's the equivalent of driving from Miami to New Hampshire for our American viewers, or Madrid to Copenhagen for our European viewers. For everyone else, it's roughly 13 million.
Let's see if we can coat my lungs with a little THC butter.
636,363.6 bananas lying on the end. Anyway, back to your lungs. In each alveolus, the THC from the smoke is transferred directly into your bloodstream, which then carries it all over your body, including to the critical area, your brain. As a result, it often only takes a matter of seconds for the user to start feeling the psychoactive effects of what they're smoking.
Wait, what?
I said they just said something about 100 kajillion bananas or whatever. I said I got your nana right here, baby.
You're funny.
How you like them
Let's
apples?
crack your head open and see what's going on inside. Sorry, this might hurt a little. The THC and CBD bind themselves to receptors throughout your brain. The amygdala,
What
for
up,
example,
DD?
is responsible for anxiety, emotional responses, and fear. CBD dulls the activity in this part of the brain, but the THC component can stimulate it. While many users feel calmer after having
I figured people would like some marijuana facts on this one.
This is all
most
factual
weed,
shit.
other
Hey, did you catch the part where Willie Nelson fucking got high on the fucking White House? That's true.
No, I already knew that, but I didn't catch that part.
I didn't know it was actually true.
others can feel a heightened sense of
Come
paranoia.
on. Nothing about Willie Nelson is a lie. Fucking everything that man says.
Obviously, fucking he got high with Jimmy Carter's fucking son up on the fucking roof of the White House.
I know. I knew that fucking in high school.
Shit. I thought it was just a myth, like an urban legend, but no, that shit's true.
Nah, I believe
Worry,
it was
particularly
urban legend,
on the
but I
come
believe
down as the calming effects of the CBD wear off. Looking at other parts of the brain impacted by the CBD, we have the basal ganglia, which is involved with motor control and planning, the neocortex, which processes sensory information, and the cerebellum, which is the center of motor control. All three of these areas are impacted by smoking weed, resulting in you feeling slower in general. Reflexes are delayed, information takes more time to process, and motor functions and speech slow down. Driving under the influence of marijuana can be very dangerous as a result. One study in the UK found that fatal accidents are 1.65 times more likely to occur when the subject is under the influence of marijuana, while another study in Canada found that accidents could be 2 to 4 times as likely. Most countries have strict laws for driving under the influence of weed, with zero tolerance policies, made stricter by the fact that it can take over 48 hours for weed to stop showing up on a blood test. If they're testing your saliva, it can be up to 72 hours. Urine can be anywhere from 3 to 30 days, and it can even be tested in your hair follicles for up to 90 days. Fortunately, you won't find many traffic cops that are plucking out your arm hair for a routine traffic stop. However, it would be reductive to think that all weed does is dull your brain. THC is a very active component that stimulates a lot of neural activity. Colors look brighter, sounds are louder, music sounds more rich and layered. Food often tastes better under the influence of THC, giving the subject the illusion that they're really hungry. That's right, this is why so many people using cannabis experience the famous munchies, which is why having a stoner visit your home is potentially extremely dangerous to the state of your snack pantry and chip supply. Many people report having heightened imagination, being able to think outside the box or come up with fresh and exciting ideas. Artists all throughout history have partaken in recreational drugs in an attempt to broaden their horizons, dulling a lot of the negative sensations, such as feeling pain and anxiety, coupled with the stimulation from THC, results in feeling of euphoria. In short, you, our human test subject, have gotten high. But what does this high actually look like? Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's bandage your head up and take a look. So far, we've only focused on the THC and CBD, but there are hundreds of active components within cannabis, which vary in quantity and intensity depending on which of the hundreds of strains the user is consuming. On top of that, there's the method of consumption. While smoking or vaping gets chemicals into the bloodstream quickly, the high only lasts around 3 hours or so. Many users instead take gummies or bake brownies and cookies. When weed is absorbed through the digestive system, it takes a significantly longer time to kick in, but when it does, the user can experience highs that go on for hours, even up to a day, as the digestive system slowly releases the chemical into the bloodstream. All of this makes studying the effect of marijuana very difficult. As with almost any study, there are the caveats of which strain is being used, how the test subject is ingesting it, and who the test subject is. The human brain is an incredibly complex thing indeed. If you took a sample of the human brain that was the size of just 1 grain of sand.
Hey, I'm ready for a test subject. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let me get some of that government weed. I just want to try some of that government weed a little bit. Y'all got the funding and shit. I bet you they got some kill. Hey, I remember back in the day, the shit used to be fucking G13, right? I smoked so much G13. Every time I heard the fucking name of it, I was like, I'm good. Good. I gotta smoke something else. I'm fucking, you smoke that shit so much, you get used to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's that Bubba Kush at? You know what I mean?
That sample would contain 100,000 neurons and 1 billion synapses. Now multiply that by 860,000, and you've got a human brain, just like the one that's sitting in your head, watching this video and feeling very smug about itself. Being able to quantify and measure exactly what's happening in an organ far more advanced and complicated than the computers we're studying it on has been a challenge in medical science for decades and will likely continue to be one for a very long time. While one individual might take one puff and spend the rest of the day feeling anxious, their elderly grandma might smoke a whole bowl and feel nothing but zen. So, for Nana's sake, is it dangerous? Well, on the whole, consuming marijuana is relatively harmless. As long as you aren't driving, controlling heavy machinery, or performing open-heart surgery, the risks of smoking the occasional joint with the right amount of weed in it are low. So, why hasn't it been legalized worldwide already? And why are skeptics out there, including in the scientific community? As is often the case with controversial topics, a lot of the conflict comes from political and cultural differences. To tell that whole story, we need to wind all the way back to China in 2800 BC, where we find the first recorded use of marijuana in history. Even that long ago, the cannabis plant was being used for medicinal purposes.
Medicinal.
Yeah, they used to give people Marinol or whatever in the fucking hospitals and shit. And only for people who had like glaucoma or like stage 4
Emperor
cancer,
Shen Nong,
they would
considered by
prescribe
many
medical
grandfather.
marijuana before it was really known about. They would do it like under the table. If you had if you were like about to die, they would prescribe you weed, but you had to like literally be like in hospice or like fucking dying, like literally dying to fucking get prescribed weed. Now you could just say, yo, I can't eat, fucking, I'm always nauseous, I get headaches, blah blah blah, and they're like, here you go, here's your card. Back in the day, you literally have to be like dying in front of the doctor, and they'd be like, all right, go get yourself a couple joints. We've come so far. I remember I used to wish that weed was legal, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish it was still illegal, because like I used to make mad bread fucking back when weed was illegal, because like I was a hot commodity, I was the weed man, so like fucking now that weed's legal, every asshole can get it everywhere else. Fucking, and I don't know why they'd rather buy the dispensary weed. My shit's cheaper and it's better, but they want to see the numbers on the bag. They want to see test numbers and shit. And like I don't got that, so they can go pay tax and a $3 service fee, and I'll do me. Who wants to pay tax on their weed? You know what I'm saying? How the fuck you gotta pay tax on weed? It's weed. This shit grows in the motherfucking woods. Why I gotta pay tax on that shit? Do you
They
guys
fucked
tax
up.
everything?
They told me I could grow it. I ain't gotta buy no flower. I only buy dabs, and hopefully after this year I ain't gonna buy dabs.
What do? You make your own dabs?
Oh yeah, I fucking grow a whole garden for dabs.
What you do bubble hash? What do you turn it into?
12 plants just for dabs.
I know, but what kind of dabs do you turn the plants into?
What do you mean?
What kind of dabs do you turn the plants into?
Well, I'm not gonna fucking rosin press it.
You have a rosin press?
No, but I had no people who do.
Gotcha. Yeah, you know me.
Fuck no, if I went to go buy one, dude, they'd be like, why are you buying it? Why don't you just come over and use mine? You know what I'm saying? They literally, that's what they would say.
I got one, but mine's fucked up. The plates are getting like 500 degrees, and that's way too hot. And I changed the fuse in it and everything, and they're still getting hot. So I gotta take it to an electrician and see if he can help me out. Maybe I got it on the wrong setting or something, but like I have the one plate set to like 170 degrees, and I have the other plate sent to like 164 degrees. And fucking when I take my temp gun and I point it at the fucking, I remember the last time I went to go do a dab press, I took the only weed that I had, the only weed that I fucking had, right? I put it in the Micron bag, right? I fucking took it and I pressed that shit and it started smoking out the sides. Fucking like literally like smoke started billowing out in my kitchen. So I dropped the jack real quick. And I fucking looked and the paper was on fire. The mesh bag melted to the fucking weed, and like I didn't get shit. I was fucking sick. I was like, son of a bitch. I don't know what the fuck happened because it worked great last time. But the one time I went to go use it, she was just done. I did get a second hand though, and it went through the mail, so I don't know how much it was banged around. Maybe I got a loose wire or something, but I got to take it to an electrician, see if he could fucking help me out before I go sending it all the way back to the company.
What up, Rob? I see you there, brother.
I don't got no receipt for it, you know? Like, I can't prove that I bought it, so I'm sure
yeah, I'd have somebody look at it.
I'm sure they're not going to warranty it, you know?
Yeah, I'd have somebody look at it. But yeah, like Cody Koff, I know has a press, so like he'd be like, "Why the fuck did you buy one?" Like last year, fucking after harvest, I took fucking like 3 jars over there, and fucking me and Cody got high and pressed fucking buds.
Did you guys put it in the Micron bags?
Nope.
You just pressed the buds?
Yep. I had so much weed, I didn't give a fuck last year.
He's like, I didn't have them. I wasn't buying all them bags.
I wasn't even fucking stressed about it. I left the fucking pucks. I literally did 3 fucking big ass jars.
How big?
3 big ass jars.
No shit. And it came out good?
Oh yeah, it was alright. That worked till fucking 1. Oh shit, bro.
That's right. You know, I remember I was watching you. You did lives when you did that.
Yep.
Or reels or something. I remember seeing. That's why I thought you had a press. I didn't know it was Cody. How far is Cody from you?
Yes, Cody.
Isn't Cody on like the opposite side of the state from you?
No, Cody's only an hour and 9 minutes away.
That's not bad. Highway or like back roads?
It's a good little get high trip. You know what I mean? I can smoke 2 joints there, 2 joints back. It's a good little get high trip.
I know, because like if you say over here, it's a lot more like a smaller area. So like I got a major highway that way, 5 minutes.
Hang on, let me come in on my phone. This computer's fucking up already. I'm right in on my phone. Okay. So don't leave. Don't leave.
Okay. You there? Hello, hello. I'm not hearing nothing. Stay here. Can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm also doing sign language. It's quiet. Completely quiet. Nada. Let me see if you want me to back out and come back. See if that helps. Please work.
Booyah!
There you go. Now I got it down.
That was my piece of shit. What's up, hashtag? You said what's going on here? We were into some fucking facts about marijuana. I'm gonna leave some more of that video for other
Yo,
days.
Crispy, it's a good day, bro. It's a good day. Today's
That's a momentous occasion when when you take the kids fishing, they catch their first cocaine.
Oh, I love that picture. It shows the little girl.
They got the bricks like. It's fucking hilarious, bro. Oh, square grouper. Somebody's comment. A square grouper. Oh shit.
Yo, I hear if you go fishing in Florida, fucking you could bring up dead bodies, you could fucking bring up kilos of cocaine, he's like, if you just walk the shores of Florida, you just walk the beaches every morning, you're the first person out, you can see kilos like wash up on shore that like got missed. Like they came and grabbed a bunch and there was one like too far away and they wanted to get away and like they said fuck that last one. Well, it like washes up on shore and you can just find kilos on the beach and shit.
Dude, some dude was gonna attempt to swim Lake Michigan, so swimming from, it looks like Muskegon.
Yeah.
Across Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
He didn't even get far off the shore, bro, and he fucking turned around and swam back.
He what?
He fucking like he swam not even to the middle of Lake Michigan and turned around and swam back.
Holy shit. Wow. Why did he do that? I don't know. That's a big ass lake, right? Lake Michigan.
60 fucking years old. Yeah, let's look. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look up how big is actual Lake Michigan. Dude, I'm telling you, Lake Michigan's fucking huge. Huge. Any of the Great Lakes are huge. How big is Lake Michigan in miles?
Hey, when's the last time you saw me smoking this thing?
Oh, quite a long time. Oh shit. So you want the statistics? Well, I knew it was going to be longer north to south, okay? The lake is 321 miles long north to south.
Holy
It has a maximum width of 118 miles, and that's going east to west.
I'm surprised nothing ate him. I'm surprised no like
Dude. I mean, there is legends of supposedly there's fucking sharks in Lake Michigan, but it's fresh water.
But
then again, bull sharks can go up into fresh water.
Bull sharks can go into fresh water.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bull sharks can go up and fucking and live in fucking like the rivers of the
I'm
Mississippi.
surprised like a fucking megalodon from the bottom of the fucking lake didn't come up and eat his ass.
That's insane. I never knew statistically like how wide it was. I knew it was quite a ways across. Okay. Fucking Lake Michigan is huge.
Did I get him? Cocksucker motherfucker won't leave me alone. Fucking flying.
All right.
Pissing me. Keeps flying.
I'm pulling up a depth chart. We're gonna see how deep this motherfucker is. What about
Oh shit! I should have let the chicken.
the yoga way? Alright, hold on. I will look that up as soon as this pops up because I'm curious. I know Lake Michigan isn't the deepest of the fucking Great Lakes, but I know that motherfucker's up there on the size scale. That motherfucker has its own weather. I swear to God, it does.
Its own weather.
It does.
The lake effect, right? The lake effect.
Yeah, it has its own weather. There's storms that come across that don't do shit to Chicago. They hit that fucking lake and either intensify or dissipate.
See, we kind of we call that a snow belt. Because, like, whenever it rains, it always rains over us and not downtown. You know, like, it'll be torrential downpouring up here, but downtown will just get, like, a little bit of rain. And then when it snows, downtown gets, like, a couple inches, and we get, like, fucking 18. You know, like...
So listen, Lake Michigan is 925 feet deep.
Wow. Yeah, sharks could definitely live in that shit.
Because Lake Superior, like I thought it was Lake Superior, is 1,323 feet deep. Lake Huron is only 750 feet deep. Lake Erie's only 210 feet deep. Lake Ontario is 802 feet deep. Alright, so we're about to go look up this lake Crispy put in here. Let's see. Oh shit. I knew it had to be over there in New York.
What lake? What, Lake George?
Right there. We're gonna wicked this motherfucker. It's in New York.
Yo, Ronnie, I sent my banger out to get refurbished.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, like for people who buy like cheap bangers, like fucking like a $20 or $30, $40 one, it doesn't really make sense to get it refurbished unless you like really want it, because it's like $60 to get it done. You got to pay $10 to ship it to them. You know, you got to send it in like a flat rate box so it's safe, or however you feel is safe shipping it. And then you got to fucking what you call it? It's $50 to fix it. And then it's $10 to send it back. They send it back in a flat rate box, so that way it gets to you. You know, like I think they want you to send it in a flat rate box too.
They
But
will
like
go in
my
is
banger
the
is
longest.
my banger is $150 banger, so it
I know.
makes sense to pay the fucking $50 and get it refurbished. You know.
Yeah, it does for you, but me, I buy them cheap, so I don't even give a fuck. Anyways, hashtag. It's the longest central New York's glacial Finger Lakes is the second largest in the surface area, marginally smaller than Seneca Lake, and second largest in volume. It is just under 39 miles long. Its average width is 1.7 miles and is 3.5 miles wide at its widest point near Aurora. It is approximately 435 feet deep at its deepest point and has over 95 miles of shoreline. Hashtag said, what does the refurbishing do? It just takes the charring off your glass.
It makes it look brand new. They fucking
Yep.
when your banger gets jazzed and it's all charred and shit, that's all fucking carbon from butane and fucking the wax that you smoked and just burnt off. And like I wipe, I do things what I can to make my bangers last as long as possible. Like I wipe out every hit with a Q-tip and shit. But after about a year or so, they end up still getting.
Hey, hashtag said small in comparison to the others. Yeah.
People, you're gonna get a big like char mark on that one corner because like you heated it up there. That's why I like try to heat mine up evenly. But yeah, my banger's like $150 banger. So instead of just throwing it out and going to buy another $150 one, which I was gonna do, but they're out of stock. And I emailed the guy who made it to see if he'd make another one, and he's like too busy to get back to a nigga. So fucking my only option to get a new banger was refurb mine. Get, go.
Hell yeah. I had to pee. Means that I never knew it was an option.
You never knew what was an option.
You can get your fucking banger refurbished.
Yeah. Well, only certain people do it. Not everybody does it. If you want to know, if you want a banger refurbished, I'll hook you up a dude, but it's not something that everybody does. A buddy of mine has a glass company and fucking he refurbishes bangers. He's actually like a really, really, really heady glass blower. He blows like caps and every once in a while a cup or a bowl, but he normally blows like heady caps for like the Carta, the other electric one. He's got spinners, he's got regular like funnel caps, and then he's got like collabs and opal ones. Mad cool shit. It's soup glass.
Hell yeah.
Anybody wanted to know. Soup glass. And hit him up and he'll send you the directions on how to get your banger refurbished.
Oh. What? Guess I'm getting this rain box here soon. Gotta take my weekly shower. I joke, I kid.
Shit, do I want to wear these? I might wear these today. Don't feel like it. It's just one of those days. So what you got planned for the day, Joseph? Huh?
You're back. Yeah, you
I
disconnected,
said,
bro.
what you got planned for the day?
I don't know. Probably go fishing.
Go fishing?
I'm already baked as shit, so go fishing.
He said I'm already baked as shit.
For real, I took like 4 dabs and I'm fucking high out of my gourd, bro. I'm so high I can shake hands with Jesus.
Oh, that's pretty high. That's pretty fucking high. He said I'm so high I can shake hands with Jesus. I don't know. I gotta get ready for this birthday party. That's what I gotta do.
I'll let you go.
All right, brother. Mad love, y'all.
Much love, Ronnie. You know I'll catch you next time.
Hell yeah, I'll be live later.
Tell Kimmy I said what's up.
I will.
Peace.